Okay, the best rock videos of all time. I'd say after being in a band for 11 years, we have pretty much the same taste, so we could just say a bunch. So I'd have to say, I think it's Computer World by Kraftwerk. It's got a lot of neon signs flying around, and it's got them in it. That one's really good. And is it called It's Only Rock and Roll, But I Like It, by the Rolling Stones. That has them in sailor uniforms and a bunch of foam in it. That one's good. There's a recent one, a Chemical Brothers one that Michel Gondry did, that's really good. I can't remember what that is called, but it's got like all his videos, it has some kind of a kaleidoscope theme. What else? What else is good, Nicholas?
I don't know.
Pick a few.
Straight Outta Compton is pretty good. NWA and Devo's got a couple of really good ones. Maybe Whip It is one of the more colorful ones, and maybe one of the best ones.
Hey Yo with Outkast is a good video also.
That's a bunch. And if the Misfits ever did one, it's probably pretty good as well. Okay, my first question is, could we kill a living one instead? But other than that, I'd say Screaming Jay Hawkins. Because, A, because he's good, and B, because he has so many children that would be happy if he was alive. So having 72 children or grandchildren or whatever it was, you know, they'd probably be happy if he was still around. So Screaming Jay Hawkins for me. Nicholas?
If I were to reunite a band, I don't know, I guess I have a couple of punk bands that I would probably want to see again in their original form. Is that possible?
It is possible, Nicholas.
I'll do that then. Probably maybe the Dead Kennedys and the Misfits and a couple of those Wildcats.
If I were to bring back a dead singer to life, it would probably be Elvis himself, and you all know why, you know. So it's not that difficult.
If I had to pick a band, I would pick the Johnny Burnett Rock and Roll Trio.
If I will reunite any band, it feels like all the bands you liked is starting to reunite anyway, so I think I just have to wait for a while. So
out of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, I would have to say rock and roll, because it's the reason we started the band. So for the band, it would be rock and roll. We do have sex on occasion, but that doesn't really have a lot to do with the band.
Between sex, drugs, and rock and roll, I'd have to pick rock and roll or sex. Can't really choose between both, but maybe rock and roll has got an edge on sex.
Between sex, drugs, and rock and roll, I have to agree with my fellow musicians here that rock and roll probably beats sex, but with a small margin.
I will choose rock and roll.
I'll choose rock and roll as well, and sex. But it's a hard choice.